campus of Hampton University at Holland Fieldhouse. WHCS Channel 29 presents Group AAA Peninsula District Championship Boys Basketball. The Hampton Crabbers versus the Warwick Raiders. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole, along with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble, and we are here at Holland Fieldhouse for the championship game of the Peninsula District. The winner goes on to regional play. The loser goes home. And Bob, this looks like it ought to be a pretty good ball game.
It surely will, Tim. We're going to get, hopefully, the announcements coming from Bill Nettle. As you can see, the officials over there, Pat Patrick and Ron Fowler.
Let's go now to David Nettle.
And then we've got the starters coming out on both teams, Tim.
At forward, the 6'1" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 32, Ronnie Blackmud. At forward, the 6'2" senior for the Warwick Raiders, number 44, Ron Corey. At forward, a 6'3" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 42, John Scott.
John Scott averaging a little more than 12 points per game.
At center, a 6'4" senior for the Warwick Raiders, number 30, Wesley Thompson. At forward, a 6'3" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 52, Baruch Perez. At guard, a 6'2" senior for the Warwick Raiders, number 34, McShawn Hanks. At guard, a 6'1" junior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 20, Kevin Swan.
Kevin Swan averaging over 16 points per ball game.
Sophomore for the Warwick Raiders, number 20, Man Venable. At guard, a 5'10" senior for the Hampton Crabbers, number 12, Aaron Johnson.
And Aaron Johnson averages over double figures.
Season been more, and he is assisted by Greg Henderson and Wayne Brooks. Head coach for the Hampton Crabbers in his 5th season is Walter Brower, and he is assisted by David Blizzard and Art Jones. Our officials, ladies and gentlemen, the referee, Pat Patrick, and the umpire, Mr. Ron Fowler.
Well, Tim, we're going to have a good game. Both of these teams are very explosive, and Ron Fowler said if the Raiders play as well as they did the other night, Hampton's going to have their hands full. And I'd also tell him that Hampton's been playing awful good, and if both teams play as they have been in the last couple games, this is really going to be quite a contest tonight. We have one casualty, Gannon Baker for Hampton, sprained his ankle right bad and did not suit up for Wednesday's game and is not suited up for tonight's game. And he is a good shooter, as we know. He's just a sophomore, so he's got a couple more years with Hampton.
Crabbers victors in their last 7 games. They defeated Ferguson High School in the semifinals, 77-67, right here on Channel 29. And the Warwick Raiders, of course, upset the top-seeded Denby Patriots in their ball game to get this final game. Now, unlike the girls' game that we did earlier this evening, and you've seen here on Channel 29, we hope, no extra team in this situation. Denby, by elimination, is going to go, because they were the Peninsula District champions, only one of these 2 teams will advance to regional play. So this game has great significance on this season, and Baruch Harris hit the ball on the way up, so they'll...
Well, both of them did. The ball just never got up. Pat didn't get it out of his hands far enough.
Knocked out of bounds, and they'll do it again as Ron Fowler, the other official, indicates that both players were responsible for it being knocked out of bounds. So 1 second has gone off the clock incorrectly, I might add. It's been...
No, that's as soon as the ball's touched,
true,
Tim.
Yeah, you're right. Okay.
Hampton has the ball. Let's see, the Raiders are going to come out and go man-to-man, do a bunch of jumping, and you got a shot right off the bat. Hampton is an excellent scoring team, but they also play tough defense. But they're not going full court. They're going to pick them up, and looks like a double stack for the Warwick Raiders.
Whistle underneath and a traveling call.
That was an excellent call. That would have been hard to see had you not been aware of the young man shuffling his feet. And Pat Patrick did an excellent job, had good position to see that.
Aaron Johnson, guarded by William Venable, finds John Scott. Top of the key, Kevin Swan swings around for Baruch Harris. To John Scott in close. Put it up, it doesn't go, but we've got a foul.
John Scott does a good job of flashing into that lane, getting the ball, and is usually very excellent at shooting, very excellent shooting percentage at that point. He was fouled, and we'll have 2 from the line. Looks like what Raiders are trying to do is do a little bit of jump switching and try to mix up on Hampton a little bit and try to confuse them.
Crabbers winners of 7 in a row, as I said. Their record coming into this game, 20-3. And they are ranked number 10 in the state in the most recent polls. John Scott, 1 of 2. Baruch Harris got the rebound, but it's stolen by William Venable and then lost out of bounds by the Raiders.
He got the ball, stole it, dribbled it, and he just lost control of it. But that was an excellent job for number 20 there for the Raiders, William Venable, to take that ball. And that's what Baruch's going to have to be careful when you get a rebound and you're a big guy. You don't bring the ball down there where the little guys can get a hold of it. And we know Kevin's going to shoot from the outside. Well, evidently the top of the backboard, Tim, is not out, but the support is. And evidently it did hit the support in the eyes of Round Fowler.
So no basket. And the ball goes over to Warwick. This is Venable, guarded by Swan, his like number. Venable fakes Swan, then gets it partially blocked by Swan, as Swan recovered very nicely from that fake.
Well, they're running a low stack down in the paint, and they're just trying to get the ball down inside and get some pressure on the Hampton Crabbers.
John Scott gets the roll.
And we've seen him score a lot of points from right there in that lane, Tim.
Hampton 5-0, 6:30 remaining in the first quarter. 4 8-minute quarters in high school basketball. Last touch by the Crabbers, Ronnie Blackman.
Well, the Warwick Raider, Wesley Thompson, did a good job of bouncing that off of Blackman.
Thompson averages 14 points a game. This is McShane Hanks. Inside, put it up, no good. Baruch Harris. So Ben Moore's Warwick Raiders come out a little cold.
Well, they're getting some good shots, Tim. They're not taking bad shots.
Contact inside, no foul. Ronnie Blackman got the rebound, gives to Aaron Johnson. Johnson guarded by Venable. Now it's Ronnie Blackman to Baruch Harris at the top of the key. Give it back to Harris. Turnaround one-hander is off.
Excuse me, Tim, he never got his shoulders squared away that time and really didn't have control of the basketball.
Venable, a nice feed underneath.
Excellent pass.
Ron Corey, the recipient of a super pass by Venable. Give the assist to Venable, give the basket to Corey, and it's 5-2 Crabbers. Ronnie Blackman with a pick that he runs into, ran into his own man, John Scott. Drive the lane, Swan shovels it up, it won't go. And Carlos Wood wipes the boards clean.
Well, Ben Moore, the coach at Warwick Raiders, has I'll put that point up in a minute.
Pretty good block, but with the body was McShane. Check that, Wesley Thompson. He got ball, but he got the body as he went up.
He most certainly did. Ben Moore is only his second year over at Warwick High School, but what is significant about that is he replaced Jim Harvey, who had an excellent record, and this is the second year, and of course the team is starting to get used to his philosophy and his way of coaching, and it's hard to step in and take a successful coach's place, but Ben has done an excellent job over there at Warwick.
Aaron Johnson now with his third point. That foul was charged to Thompson. (7-2) Crabbers. Crabbers hit 55% of the shots against Ferguson Wednesday night. were credited with 12 steals, and they created 15 turnovers. That's the kind of team Hampton is. They don't just score a lot. They play good defense, and they'll make you make mistakes. Foul underneath is going to be charged to Ronnie Blackman. There you see a good shot of our early game co-announcer as Pat Patrick.
There's some awesome picks being set underneath that basket.
The very likable official in the Vincent District was our guest. 3-point shot by Venable doesn't go. Ronnie Blackman had it and lost it out of bounds. Big crowd on hand for this championship game.
Well, Hampton will go into a zone here on the inbounds pass. So now they're picking them a man-to-man.
From outside, 3-pointers off the mark. Baruch Harris gets the rebound.
And he takes that rebound now with some authority, Tim.
Aaron Johnson. Ronnie Blackman. Kick it out to Swan. He finds Baruch Harris. That's not Harris' shot. You don't want to work to get Harris a 17-footer.
Well, Hampton is being very patient here in their offense.
They want to get the ball inside to Scott if they can. I haven't seen them work this particular pattern before where they have Harris on the wing.
That's very unusual.
And we've got a foul, and it's an offensive foul against Aaron Johnson. So kind of playing a low post with Baruch Harris, which is, I can't say that I've seen Hampton use this particular offensive pattern in the past. Do you remember them doing this before?
No, this is the first time I've seen them do that. We got number 22, David Wessel, in for the Raiders right now.
He will replace William Venable. That is Wessel with the ball. McShane Hanks guarded tightly by Paul Blackman, who's just come in the game.
And that's something that Kevin Swan does all the time, Tim. He just so effortlessly steals the ball, and if you don't watch him, he'll hit a three-pointer. He'll score 4 or 5 points real quick in a row.
He's a quiet scorer. I use that term a lot because there's some people that they get the points, you don't really realize they've gotten the points, but he does a lot of things besides score, as you've mentioned before. Inside low, it doesn't go. Defensive pressure from the Crabbers caused that shot not to
Well,
win.
Tim, there was a good job of the Crabbers staying on their feet. There was an excellent fake for the shot, but they didn't leave their feet.
Crabbers with a 7-point lead. We're early, 3:14 to go.
That is not Baruch Harris's shot, Tim. I'm very surprised if Coach Brawl DeBrauer doesn't tell him get back underneath that basket or something, but that's a shot we'd expect John to take. Baruch is much better closer to the basket.
Wessel guarded by Swan, looking to throw it out. Inside move, nice play. Carlos Wood, averaging 12.5 per game, gets his first bucket, and it's a 5-point Hampton lead. Harris at the top of the key, out for Paul Blackman. 15-footer by John Scott. He was off balance, and it's taken down by the Raiders.
The defender hit the ball and kind of broke his concentration.
3-point attempt. Warwick, one of the better 3-point shooting teams in the district. Ron Corey gets his second bucket, and now the Raiders pull within 3. 9-6 with 2:15 to go in the first. Baruch Harris, baseline jumper. It's not his shot. I'm not sure why he's playing it that way. And one of the Raiders goes down hard. That's Ron Corey, who caught an elbow in the throat. I guess that was ruled incidental contact by the official.
Yeah, I think that it was.
I don't know what that means.
That means no harm, no foul, Tim.
Ask Mr. Corey about
I was going to say, Corey won't believe that, really.
9-6, Hampton by 3. Warwick with the ball. Wessel will pull up from 13. It goes off the heel of the rim, and John Scott cleans the boards for Hampton.
Well, they need to get John Scott back into this offense.
Kevin Swan, in his attempt to look across the court for an open teammate, lost the handle on the ball.
And we see that our friend, number 44 for the Hampton Raiders, Eric Hunter, coming in to replace Baruch Harris.
It's either the Hampton Crabbers or the Warwick Raiders. You just made a new team, Bob.
Well, I just see the people paying attention. You did a good job.
A minute 19, 9-6, Hampton.
The Warwick Crabbers. Did I say that?
You said the Hampton Raiders, but that's okay.
Well, it's about as bad as the Warwick Crabbers.
Warwick Crabbers. Eric Hunter is the man you're talking about.
He moved his feet. Good call. That was a good pass. He was open. He should have head fake and gone right on up and tried to draw the foul. But that's about 3 times Hampton's come down and gone empty.
Both teams a little tight, I'm sure. Venable guarded by Paul Blackman. Venable bounces it off his foot but gets it back. And now from 12 foot, he puts it up, it doesn't go. Battle for the rebound, and finally Kevin Swan brings it down. 43 seconds to go in the first quarter. Blackman will force a shot up. It comes off the heel of the rim, and we're going to have a foul on Paul Blackman.
Well, that was a shot you don't mind taking. That was within 4 feet of the 4 or 5 feet of the basket. Just couldn't get it to drop, and then of course his enthusiasm to get the loose ball or the rebound, he ended up causing the drawing the foul.
Warwick trailing by 3 with a half a minute to go.
At the end of this first quarter, Tim, we only got about 26 seconds to go, but at the end of the first quarter, we're going to have, let's see, Mr. Stacy, who is the principal at Warwick, and Lowell Thomas, principal at Hampton, and AG is going to get those two gentlemen together and hopefully be between them, I guess. Get a few comments. Get some comments from them anyway.
Warwick having a lot of opportunities here to get back in this game. Crabbers have been dead cold for the last 3.5, 4 minutes. Warwick has kind of spread it out. I think they're looking for the last shot of the quarter. Good block inside. The Crabbers are just putting up a big defensive blocking zone there as the ball is knocked out of bounds.
But we got 4 seconds to go, and of course we're going to see Hampton put up the last shot. But that was an excellent pass, but also an excellent defensive job in there by the Warwick Raiders.
I don't think the Crabbers, no, my gracious, would have counted had it gone. I don't believe the Crabbers. That's one of the things that I disagree with the seatbelt rule. The coach doesn't have a chance all the time to get the attention of his players. By being able to walk down to the center of the court and yell to your team captain, your team leader, you can do that. Okay, let's go to AG now as is Mr. Stacy and Mr. Thomas.
Tim and Bob, we got Richard Stacy and Lowell Thomas, the opposing principals tonight. And Principal Stacy, your thoughts first quarter?
Things are moving too slowly. we got to have more offense. Maybe a little less offense from Hampton, a little more from us.
Anything special going on at Warwick High School today in preparation?
No, we were all pretty tense, but I think the guys are ready.
Lowell, how important is this game to the players?
Well, AG, the team that wins tonight goes, and so it's very important, and I think that's showing in the way the teams have played this first quarter. Both teams look to be a little bit tentative. We're a whole lot tighter than we were the other night.
How is the mood at Ham High School today?
I agree with Mr. Stacy. We were a little tense today. Everybody wants to be here. Everybody wants to win. We just want to get on with the game.
All right, good luck to both of you guys. Tim and Bob.
Well, they didn't look like they were mad at each other.
So both teams very cold in the first quarter here. I'm sorry, I was listening to Bill Nettle, who's been really on top of things here at Holland Fieldhouse. He mentioned that Warwick hit 23% in the first quarter and Hampton not much better at 27%. So both teams, I think, are really feeling the pressure.
Well, I tell you what, Warwick has got a good motion offense that time, but they just threw the ball away, but they keeping the Crabbers moving.
Crabbers didn't score in the last 3.5 minutes of the first quarter. And fortunately for the Crabbers, neither did Warwick to most parts. Paul Blackman and going to have a charge on Paul. That's his second personal foul. So Warwick plays good defense too. They're 12 and 11 on the season. Not a sparkling record, but they have beaten some good teams, and Hampton is one of them, and Denby is another of them.
Well,
so they've been kind of hot and cold.
Coach Ben Moore says that, you know, that it's the consistency. And he said if they play like they normally, like he wants them to play, of course, and like he knows their potential is, they win. But sometimes you can't get the consistency out of your ball players.
Nice feed from Venable.
Well, now that's what Hampton's tried to do down at the other end, and Paul Blackman ended up picking up the charging foul.
Carlos Wood scores on the feed from Venable, and it's a 1-point Hampton lead. 9-8, Baruch Harris, top of the key. Swan, his pass too strong. Back come the Warwick Raiders with a chance to take the lead. Venable will lay it in and good. So the Raiders now have a spurt of their own, and it's 10-9 Warwick.
And Hampton has just got completely cold. In fact, they're not getting good shots at all. And that was a bad pass right down at the feet.
Wesley Thompson with 2.
And Pat Patrick had just warned the Warwick Raiders when that ball goes through the basket, you don't touch it, because that impedes the offense getting generated. Of course, let your defense get back. Second time that happens, there will be a technical foul. I believe you warn them once and you technical on them the second time. Hampton just needs to get their offense going. Warwick Raiders defense have completely taken Hampton away from their offense.
Well, Warwick is overplaying, as you can see there. Every pass, they are going for the pass. They're overplaying the ball.
Well, neither one of these teams have anything to lose, Tim, except they lose. They don't go, so you got to play all out. You can't come in here and play not to lose. You got to come in and play to win. And right now, Warwick is being the more dominant team defensively, and that's why they've taken the 3-point lead.
Thompson will come out of the ball game. He has picked up his second personal foul early here in the first half. So Thompson, one of the key ingredients, the team's leading scorer with more than 14 points a game, cannot afford to pick up that third foul. That could be a big factor in this game.
You're right there, Tim.
But Ben Moore will have to sit young Thompson down for at least a while. Crabbers, I remind, though, those of you that may not be familiar with high school ball, there is no shot clock. So, I mean, you can do the old Carolina stall if that's your intent. Aaron Monday has a shot blocked, and then he fouls the man who blocked the shot, number 44, Ron Corey. So that's, again, you see that with your young players a lot of times.
Well, you got to give a fake. He'd have faked. He'd have maybe got a 3-point as it was. He got the foul, the shot blocked, and then a foul called on him.
And the Crabbers are in a wee bit of foul trouble of their own, not individually, but as a team they are, because for the next 5:37, Warwick will be in a bonus situation, whereas the Crabbers have 2 more fouls to the point where they'll be in a bonus. Warwick has only committed 3 team fouls at this point in the ballgame. At the free throw line, Ron Corey with 4 points. And he'll get the bonus. The Raiders, the upset victors over the Denby Patriots in this tournament. That's how they got here to the final game. One of 2 as the Crabbers will bring it down, trailing by 4. They led by 3 at the quarter break and have yet to score. Aaron Johnson from 14, no good. Rebound by Eric Hunter. Hunter dishes it out. Ronnie Blackman puts it in.
Well, that breaks a streak. You can't go almost 3 minutes without scoring any points and only be down by 2. That's not too bad.
Well, those horrible percentages in the first quarter are the story. Wessel guarded by Ronnie Blackman. Blackman grabbed the arm in his attempt. Good call by Ron Fowler, who was right on top of the play. And now that's the second foul on Blackman. So the Blackman brothers each have 2 fouls here in the first half. Coming in is Cedric Williams, who had 8 points the other night in that victory over the Mariners. Kevin Swan and John Scott had 18 points each against Ferguson Wednesday night. Wessel at the free throw line will get the bonus. So Warwick can do some damage at the free throw line here with this bonus situation.
Well, they most certainly can, Tim.
I understand we have some interesting halftime guests coming up as well. We'll get to that in just a moment. Wessel good on both of his free throws. He's got 2 points, and it's a 4-point Warwick lead with 5 minutes to go in the half. Double team Swan on the baseline. Aaron Monday in the ball game. Aaron Johnson calls the play. Kevin Swan guarded closely, put it up. It's blocked, and it's the Raiders on a 3-on-1. Venable behind the back pass.
And that pass wasn't intended for that young man, but we got a timeout, and I know that Coach Brower's got to be very upset. The offense looks terrible. They are not getting any shots. Everything they're putting up is blocked. It looks like Warwick knows what Hampton's going to do. Now, to get to the halftime, we got some very fortunate to have Boo Williams going to be interviewed by AG, and he'll talk a little bit about the Russian team coming over here and the Canadian team coming down that played May the 8th at the Hampton Coliseum, which we will cover. But he'll also talk with George Walders, the coach at Ferguson, who lost to this Hampton team one Wednesday night, I believe it was. So those two people will be interviewed by AG at halftime. Tim, this game is definitely all Raider at this point, especially since the second quarter started.
I believe you're right, and I think Walter Brower has to do something to get his team reorganized because they are playing out of control on offense. Warwick's defense is certainly contributing greatly to that. To take nothing away from the Raiders, because it's not what Hampton isn't doing as much as it is what Warwick is doing. They're hawking the ball at every opportunity. They're not giving Hampton a chance to set up. As you see, Venable picks up Paul Blackman at the timeline. Inside, Baruch Harris, Kevin Swan, Cedric Williams now being guarded by Wessel. This is John Scott. His shot doesn't go, and he wisely let go of that ball because he was over the back of the Warwick Raider.
Well, and he pulled a string on that shot, Tim. He's not following through, and that's the shot we've seen him make a lot of.
And John Scott now charged with the foul. That'll be his first. And as I said before, the team is over the limit.
Hampton is not in the foul situation yet, so this really hurts Hampton.
Venable will go to the free throw line. And he'll get the bonus. So that's 4 free throws now for the Warwick Raiders that they have connected on. And we've got a collision inside, and I believe we're going to see Ron Corey called for the personal foul.
Against the Warwick Raiders, number 44, Ron Corey. That is his first personal foul, 4th team foul.
So that's the 4th team foul now, and the Crabbers will be
in the bonus.
In the bonus from this point on. Inside of 4 minutes to go, 18-11. Warwick by 7. Crabbers had led 9-4 at one point. John Scott. Swan. Cedric Williams won't go. And they'll say it was last touched by a Crabber.
We have seen Hampton make some awesome shots and shoot in the 50s, but I tell you, this first half, Tim, they've got to be shooting in the 20s, percentage-wise.
Fortunately for the Crabbers, they're still in the game. His Warwick hasn't shot much better.
That's true. They've gotten a lot of points off the foul line. And now Hampton is in a zone. And of course, you have alluded to the fact that the Warwick is as a team, is a pretty good three-point shooting team.
Baruch Harris cleans the boards for the Crabbers. They want to push it down the floor. Kevin Swan spots a teammate open underneath the basket, but his pass was just too strong.
It was an excellent pass, except for the speed of it. You can't force things to happen. You've got to take them naturally.
Warwick will try another three-pointer. And this one goes off the top of the backboard, so that's one each for the teams now. And
but that
that's the
went
same thing
off
as going
and
out of bounds.
behind, and that's why that was a violation.
So the Crabbers need to get their shooting eye uncorked here. The Raiders, of course, would like to bury them during this cold spell. Kevin Swan dishes it out to Baruch Harris. He's pounded, and the shot will count.
And he was hammered by number 20, and I don't believe the number 20, William Venable, he must have had thoughts of grandeur because he's about a foot shorter than Baruch, and he went up like he was going to foul that shot. But I think what he was trying to do, Tim, was block him out. And, of course, you can't knock the guy down, but that's a break for Hampton if they get a three-point play here and get back within 4.
You see a good shot of Baruch Harris as he'll be trying to complete the three-point play. It doesn't go. Ball is knocked loose, and Blackman has it momentarily, but then loses it out of bounds on a good hustle. Check that, not Blackman, but rather Cedric Williams, number 22 for the Crabbers. Crabbers are down by 8 with 2:20 to go in the first half. Tim Cole, Bob Hintz, and A.G. Womble coming to you from Holland Fieldhouse on the campus of Hampton University. This is the championship game of the Group AAA Peninsula District Basketball, the boys game, between the Hampton Crabbers, 20-3, and the Warwick Raiders, 12-11. Don't let that Warwick Raider record of 12-11 fool you, though. They're playing like they're 20-3. Paul Blackman putting pressure on Venable. It works. Kevin Swan gets the break. Put it up. It doesn't go, but the follow-up does.
Nice follow. Cedric Williams did an excellent job of following that time.
No question about it. And the Crabbers back within 3 in spite of their cold shooting.
Well, Tim, that's because of defense and Kevin Swan.
And lost it off his foot. That was Carlos Wood, who had an open field to the basket, but then in his excitement to do so, bounced the ball off his foot out of bounds.
He was so open, he got lonely, Tim.
Crabbers now with a chance to bring it within 1 and tie with a three-pointer. Swan makes contact, and how will they call this? Wessel will be called for blocking. That's his first.
Now, Kevin is a pretty good foul shooter, and this will get Hampton back within 1, Tim. If they can go in within 1 or 2 points and even with a lead, for as bad as they have shot that first quarter, that would be a plus for them. But I know that when Coach Walter Brower gets them in there at halftime, they're going to be fire shooting out of his eye because he's not pleased at all the way the offense have worked at all this first half, especially the second quarter.
Kevin Swan,
who doesn't take much time, does he, Tim? A good shot of Kevin.
doesn't get the second one, however. 1:18 to go, a 2-point ball game. The Warwick Raiders by 2. From the three-point range, they haven't made it yet. But the follow-up shot tipped in nicely by number 42, Carlos Wood. Well, let's just say that they give that basket to McShawn Hanks, number 34, instead of 42.
Number 24 in there for the Raiders, Tim, it looks like to me is that's David Golden. He was not listed, he was listed on a program, but with no number. And I don't have him on my list, so he must be 24. We'll make him 24.
Ron Corey, 44 of the Warwick Raiders, charged with a blocking foul. Hunter will come back in for the Crabbers. Baruch Harris will come out for a breather. And the Raiders will also substitute for Ron Corey, who has picked up his second foul, and Chris Lassiter will replace him. Ben Moore surely doesn't want either Corey or Wesley Thompson to pick up their third foul before the halftime with just 43 seconds to go, and that could very seriously inhibit their play in the second half.
Most certainly could, Tim, and you're ahead by 3. At this point, you want to be close or ahead when you're going at halftime. And the Crabbers have cut the lead down to 2, but I tell you, as bad as they've played, that says something for their defense, because they've stayed in the ball game because of their defense and Kevin Swan's excellent hustle.
30 seconds to go in the half. Venable guarded by Paul Blackman. Now he's double teamed by Swan. That means somebody's open. David Golden throws up an air ball, and Eric Hunter climbed the back of the Warwick Raiders' Carlos Wood in order to get that rebound. That'll be Hunter's first.
And that was just a bad job for Eric Hunter in blocking out. He just did a lousy job of blocking out, trying to go over the back of number 42 for the Raiders, Carlos Wood.
Carlos Wood has been the most consistent scorer here in the first half. He has 8 of the Warwick Raiders points. Leading scorer for the Crabbers would go to Aaron Johnson with 4, and then there's 2 players with 3 and a couple more with 2 each. So no one has really taken control of the scoring for the Crabbers. Carlos Wood.
I hope the camera zooms in on Carlos Wood as he goes through his ritual to shoot the ball, and watch what he does with the ball, Tim. We get a pan back and get a view of that. They missed it. He really rolls that ball all the way from his arm.
10 points for Wood. 20 seconds to go. Crabbers down by 4. Swan's pass is knocked out by Venable. No, they say no. So Ron Fowler says it was last touched by Aaron Johnson. Excuse me.
And I missed that.
So just 7 seconds remain here in the first half. 22-18. Venable loses the handle, and then he dribbles again. I can't believe he did that.
Can't do that. That was an
I believe he
excellent
might
goal.
have
We got
thought
2
that-
seconds, so we're going to have just a desperation shot with Hampton. And remember now, we got George Walder, Ferguson coach, and Boo Williams coming up at halftime.
Well, we won't get that desperation shot from Hampton. We'll, in fact, get it from the Warwick Raiders. It doesn't go.
Well, I know Coach Brower is very upset because they have not been playing with any intensity at all. Well, we have seen them in the last 5-6 times they have played, Tim.
All right, so we're at halftime. And we're going to take a brief pause while AG sets up. I believe he's going to be trying to get with George Walters.
Yeah, here comes George down here.
Okay, well, we'll hold it here for just a second, and maybe we can give you a shot of the fine-looking crowd here tonight as we are at halftime. The Warwick Raiders 22-18 over the Hampton Crabbers, a 4-point lead. And as you said, with all things considered, it's not a bad score for the Crabbers, but they definitely have to get back in this ball game if they're going to have a chance to advance. And of course, Warwick Raiders would love to do nothing better but upset the 2 top-seeded teams in the district.
It sure would. And now we're going to go to AG and a real slim, trim George Walters. Go ahead, AG.
George Walters, head coach of the Ferguson Mariners, and coach, let's say 18-22. Crabbers on the short end of it. Did that surprise you any?
I think it surprised quite a few people. As you heard the first quarter statistics, 23% for Warwick, 27% for Hampton. I think more people are expecting a little more of an offensive game than they've seen thus far. Hampton has been not been able to get but 1 shot on the boards. Warwick's been able to control the boards pretty well on both ends, I think. That's probably the difference.
If you're Coach Brower now at halftime, what would you be telling the Crabbers?
Probably try to relax them, loosen them up a little bit, and go to the boards hard, because, you know, Warwick is able to compete with Hampton because they can go on the boards with them. You know, our game the other night, you know, we were small, we couldn't compete on the boards too well.
You got talking about your game the other night, you were behind by 15, but you got them down to about 5 there. Looked like you guys might have a shot at it there at the end.
Well, we got it down to 5, and we were trying to get some points with the clock off, so we were trying to foul, but when we fouled, you can see tonight that Hampton's a good free throw shooting team, and they were 5 out of 6 there at the end when we did cut it to 5, and we were unable to hit the key baskets when we had to.
Coach, what about the Mariners next year? What does it look like?
Well, we returned 9 kids. We lose 3 starters. Well, 2 starters and a 6th man. 2 of them averaging 11, 1 averaging 12. So we're losing 33, 34 points out of the lineup, and a few rebounds and a few assists. But we have Steve Artis returning next year. He's an all-district guard. We have 8 other kids coming back with him. These kids were JV champions 2 years ago as sophomores. Sean Lynch started for us all year long. He was returning. Bruce Ballard, not a great player, but a good chemistry player, and he's been starting for us the last third of the season. So we're looking to have a pretty good year next year. For our young kids who do not play as much, work in the offseason come through, I think we'll be okay next year.
Any predictions on this game tonight?
Whoever gets a hot hand or gets a spurt, I think will take care of this one.
All right,
Excuse me. Both teams have been very cold, and Hampton I think Ben was very content with being 3 points down at the end of the first quarter. Ironically enough, that's the same score we had the other night. Hampton was up on us 9-6. Of course, Hampton had a tremendous second quarter. Tonight, Warwick was just being very patient. They hit some free throws, and then Hampton closed it up a little bit with a couple steals. But I think whoever gets a hot hand, I think will take care of this one.
Well, George, congratulations on a great season. Good luck to you next year, and appreciate you coming out here.
All right, thank you.
All right, George Walters, Ferguson Mariner coach.
All right, AG, thank you very much. And I believe you're also going to try and track down Boo Williams, the Phoebus High School graduate, and went on to St. Joseph's and other successful endeavors. And his latest endeavor, of course, is being the coach over at the AAU team. And if we're all set, let's go to Boo Williams and A.G. Walker.
All right, we got Boo Williams with us again. Boo, what were your thoughts on this first half?
I tell you what, it looked bad. To say the truth, Ham looked bad. Ham just didn't play well. They was look sloppy, look kind of tight. I was a little surprised because Ham been here before, but Ben has done a good job so far.
What about the second half now? What do you think we can see from the Crabbers in the second half?
The second half, more tension. I think Hampton going to try to make it an up and down game and make them play harder. I think Brown going to make it a 94-foot game and make it a harder game. Right now, there's a half court. I think they want to spread the court and make it a 94-foot game.
Boo, let's switch over now. We got some big games coming up that you're involved in. On May 8th, tell us about what's going to happen on May 8th at the Coliseum.
Well, May 8th, we got the Russian team coming in playing 6 o'clock against the boys, and also the first time the Canadian junior national team have been in this area going to play against the girls team. I'm telling you, that'd be very interesting. We got a lot of local girls. And
who are some of the girls going to be participating in that game?
Well, we saw 2 early. So little Nikki Reed it'll be interesting against the big Canadian team, and also you got Natalie Thomas, the other kid. And we got some very good local kids that can be participating.
All right, what about the Russian team? Now, who's going to be playing for you this year against the Russians?
Well, Alonzo Butterplay. Let me tell you what, I'm no doubt about Alonzo Butterplay. After whooping they gave us last year, if Alonzo don't play, we in trouble. We got some good talent. The Brian Stiff, the kid from going to Virginia, Milton Bell, going to Georgetown. We will have, our smallest kid will be 5'11", but we will have 10 kids bigger than 6'5" this year. So this year, we're going to be much, much bigger and stronger. They're not going to call fouls. We're going to go out and play.
Now, in August, you're going to Russia. Tell us a little bit about that. We're going to be trying to follow you there.
Well, I'm coaching the junior national team, and we're playing in the World Game for the U.S. junior national team. We're going to have to play. We're going to play in Russia backyard, and it's going to be tough. We ain't going to get no calls, so it's going to be awful tough, but we're going to have a great team.
We get to take the officials over?
No, they won't allow us to have officials. I think all of them will be matter of fact, I don't know how I'm going to holler at them because none of them can speak English.
Well, Boo, you're doing a great job with basketball. The community owes you a lot, and we really appreciate all the great things you're doing for basketball here in this area.
AJ, I tell you what, the people are going to miss a great opportunity. May 8th will be a great opportunity. We'll see the Canadian girls play at 4 and see the boys play at 6.
May 8th, Hampton Coliseum, Boo Williams, and the girls and boys. Tim and Bob, thank you.
There were going to be some great games, Tim.
I'm looking forward to it. Yeah, me too. I am looking forward to that. And
they say ESPN may be there. We might let them use our feed. Is that what you said?
That's what I said, if they talk to us nicely. All right, we're at halftime, and with our halftime score, the Warwick Raiders on top 22-18 over the Hampton Crabbers. We'll return to Holland Hall for the second half of action after this brief timeout. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble back at Holland Hall as we are watching the two teams warm up to start the second half. Bob, we had the chance to hear Boo Williams when he was talking to A.G. about the strategy at halftime here. He expanded on that a little bit with you. What did he say that you would have to do as a coach of the Hampton Crabbers get back in this game?
They just got to come out and start playing with a little more intensity, but also a little more team. It's a little like one-on-one out there. And Kevin Swan has done some things that we haven't seen him do this year. And Boo said it.
Negative things, I might add.
He's
taking some bad shots.
But he said they're playing ugly, and they really are. I mean, it's not pretty basketball at all. It's we've seen better basketball for both of these teams this year. But while we got a minute, I do want to thank Dr. Walter Lovett and Buster Jackson for their assistance here of helping our crew and everything set up at Hampton University. Without their help, it wouldn't have been as easy for us. We get help everywhere we go, but we do want to thank Dr. Walter Lovett and Buster Jackson for their excellent help over here at Hampton University.
Halftime, our scoring statistics for the Warwick Raiders, they're led by Carlos Wood with 10 points, 5 points for Ron Corey, 3 points for William Venable, 2 each for Wesley Thompson, David Wessel, and McShawn Hanks. Foul trouble for the Warwick Raiders. They have 2 players with 2 fouls. That's Wesley Thompson and Ron Corey. For the Crabbers, they were paced by Aaron Johnson with 4 points, 3 points for Kevin Swan, and the same number for John Scott. 2 points each for Paul Blackman, Cedric Williams, Ronnie Blackman, and Baruch Harris. They hit a very minimal percentage. I didn't pick up the percentages by Bill Nettle as he was running down them, but
about
the Warwick
27%, I think, is what it was, Tim. But this
surprise.
score, 18-22, that's a quarter score, not a half.
Sure, and 4 points difference it's still anyone's ball game, but the Crabbers are lucky to be in it with that kind of shooting
That's
percentage.
exactly what Boo Williams said, Tim.
Well, let me ask you, Bob, as a former basketball coach, how would you combat this dilemma?
Well, number one thing, you got to get out and run your offensive patterns, and Hampton doesn't seem to be running their offensive pattern. You got to get the ball to your scores. John Scott's inside, which will open up Kevin outside. You've got to just start doing some things that's a little bit better for you. We've got about 40, the clock's got to run down about 40-some seconds here. That's why the delay. But Hampton, as bad as they played, to only be 4 points behind, it's got to be a plus in their favor. But if they don't start playing good basketball, it doesn't make any difference what the score is. Their defense intensity's got to come up a little bit better. They got to do a better job of blocking out on the boards. Hampton is getting one shot only. They do a much better job on the offensive boards than we have seen in the past, and they got to start doing a little bit better job hitting the boards offensively. While we got a minute, Tim, I could run down the play into this ball game will be aired Monday, the 29th at 9 p.m., Wednesday, the 2nd of March at 9 p.m., and Thursday at 9 a.m., the 3rd of March. And those, for the fans, get a chance to see these games in person. It's just unbelievable.
Okay, we're set to go. Hampton has the ball to start the second half, trailing by 4 points. They led by 3 at the quarter break. Crabbers moving inside to Baruch Harris. He fakes, he shoots, he puts it up, no good. And a rebound comes off for the Crabbers, and Kevin Swan will pick up foul number 2.
Baruch took a good shot, Tim. Hampton cannot get the shots to fall, and I'm not...
But you can't give up on that either.
Beg your pardon?
You can't give up on that. You have to keep going to that shot.
You got to keep shooting, but that was a good chance for them to get the first 2 points because they went a long time in that second quarter without scoring.
McShawn Hanks guarded by Aaron Johnson. This is Venable. He's guarded by his like number, Kevin Swan. Pass almost picked off by the Crabbers. All the way across court. Venable looks inside. Nice steal by Kevin Swan. Give to Aaron Johnson, and he has it blocked. Good block by the Warwick Raider. He got all ball and no body contact. And Pat Patrick was there quickly to call the ball for the Crabbers.
I was very surprised at that move because there was 3 defenders, just 2 offensive players. I thought they may pull it back out and try to get something going.
John Scott to Johnson. Swan, nice move.
If they can't get, Kevin can't get it on the outside, he'll move inside and get it.
His quickness is a definite asset for the Crabbers. 2-point ball game. Winner goes all the way to the regions against Green Run next Wednesday night. And an offensive foul on 44. That's Ron Corey, and that's number 3 on Mr. Corey.
Well, Tim, Boo Williams seems to think that if Hampton can advance to the regionals, they have an excellent chance of beating Green Run. Even though Green Run is undefeated, they only got about 5 or 6 ball players, and their center is suspect. So I'd like to see that, and then we might end up with a matchup with Hampton against Indian River and Alonzo. That would be a tremendous game.
Ronnie Blackman dribbled the ball off his foot, and it'll turn it over to the Warwick Raiders.
The turnovers have been the big story tonight. Both teams have turned the ball over much too frequently for either one of the coaches. They don't like to see that.
Venable drives, has it knocked away, but it's retrieved by the Raiders. This is the little floor general, William Venable. Wesley Thompson, who had foul trouble, didn't see a lot of action in the first half. Shot inside doesn't go. John Scott clears the boards. Travers, Ronnie Blackman holds it up now, and Kevin Swan will set up. John Scott to Swan. Swan moves around the defender, gives to Baruch Harris.
That's that Baruch's shot, and I know Coach Walter Brower says, no, good, thank you.
That's one of those, oh my goodness, way to go. We're tied at 22. The Crabbers have been able to stay in this ball game. Now Venable will try a long shot. It doesn't go. Aaron Johnson, you have to wonder why he would do that to bring it down. You've been setting up your plays, and all of a sudden you take a 30-footer.
And you let Hampton right back in the game that quick.
That doesn't show great discipline to work the ball down and then take a 22, 23 footer. I think we're going to get a timeout.
It's exactly what we're going to get. Ben Moore doesn't like that at all, and I can understand that. You play discipline, you come down and take a three-pointer, and Hampton goes down and scores real quick before the defense can set up and hold him out. Hampton is up by 2. They were down before, up by 2. Hey, that's not bad. You outscored them 6 points at the beginning of the third quarter. You got to do that. And, of course, what happened now, Tim, is that a couple of shots like that, pretty soon everybody loosens up and everybody starts playing a little bit better.
I think that was one of the things that Boo Williams referred to, is the fact you got to loosen up a little bit. You got to relax a little out there. I think Hampton is as tight as they can be, knowing full and well that whatever they do in this ball game is obviously going to decide their fate for the rest of the season. So the faithful for both teams start to get involved in the ball game. We haven't had a lot of crowd involvement in this, and I think we might see a little more of that as the Warwick Raider fans are starting to get a little more vocal. And the Crabbers are doing the same thing. Right in our faces here, the Crabbers will go back on defense. 24-22, the Crabbers have not led since early in the first quarter. I should say early in the second quarter. Venable's shot goes awry. Battled for underneath and put in. Nice play by Carlos Wood. So Warwick says, okay, now we got to get back in our game. And on a silly play, John Scott carelessly throws the ball in with his foot on the end line. Pat Patrick right on top of the play.
And that hurts. You let Warwick get an offensive rebound, and then you turn the ball right back over to him.
And he didn't even have any pressure on him. Wesley Thompson warms to the occasion. He's got 4 points, and it's back to a 2-point Warwick lead.
Well, that's what you want. You call timeout, you score 4 quick points.
Kevin
Swan is so quick.
They have to utilize his speed because they really didn't in the first quarter. 26 all. We're getting now what we expected, a tight ball game and a barn burner. Knocked away by Baruch Harris. Swan passes up for Ronnie Blackman. It's a 4-on-2. Give it on the baseline to Aaron Johnson. Doesn't go. Blackman with his own rebound.
Excellent rebound, Tim. Now Hampton scores 4 quick points. Now this is the kind of game that we look for in the first half. Both teams have loosened up a little bit.
2-point Hampton lead. 4:10 to go in the third. Inside, the pass goes, and the foul is called. Baruch Harris is called for his first personal foul. Third team foul. Warwick will inbound. Venable now picked up by Johnson. On the switch, Baruch Harris. Rebound put up, no good. Battle for it. Kevin Swan has it momentarily. But then it's taken away by Andre Steele, number 50, who's come in the lineup for the Raiders.
That happened so fast, Tim. He got some arm on that.
John Scott spins, and they say no. It's going to be a foul before the shot.
And that's an excellent foul because there was a sure 2 points.
But that's his third personal foul, so it was a good foul to take, but not the right man.
Right.
So now the Raiders have Thompson and Corey, 2 of their big guns, with 3 fouls each. And we're going to see McShane Hanks come out of the ball game along with Wesley Thompson. David Wessel comes in. Crabbers leading by 2, make that 4.
Looked like Kevin is taking it on himself to run some offense and loosen that defense up.
That's what they needed.
Excuse me, Tim. Of course, when he drives like that, if they really pull out on him, then he'll dish the ball off.
They needed someone to take control. That's what's been missing for the Crabbers. Warwick down by 4. 3-point attempt, no good. Baruch Harris crashes the board. Comes into the hands of the Warwick Raiders.
Well, that's what has kept Warwick in this second half so far, Tim, has been their offensive rebounds.
Hampton by 2. Ronnie Blackman, air ball. So now Warwick will bring it up with a chance to tie. 3-point attempt, it's good. So Venable not only ties it up, but with 1 shot puts Warwick ahead by 1. Game is getting heated. Oh, nice move. My gracious. Kevin Swan just knifed through the defense, never got touched, and laid it in.
That's the kind you just sit back and say, watch it. You can't explain that.
Another 3-point try by Venable. Doesn't go. And John Scott gets the board. Hampton by a point. Pace has picked up considerably here in the second half. Kevin Swan penetrates, dishes it off to Aaron Johnson, off the heel of the rim. 2 Crabbers battle for it, and the Warwick Raiders get it. Ron Corey with the board. 2:03 left in the third quarter. Hampton by 1. Winner plays Green Run next Wednesday. Loser watches. Good feed underneath.
Somebody is not underneath and watching. That was an excellent pass, but number 50 shouldn't be that wide open underneath that basket.
Andre Steele with great hands. That pass was rifled to him, and he held onto it and put it in. Baseline jumper. Baruch Harris can't get it to go. And now Warwick with a 1-point lead brings the ball up. There you see a good shot, or at least you had a good shot, of William Venable. Venable, who's pumped 2 3-pointers in a row, making one of those 2. Shot doesn't go inside. Back come the Crabbers. Aaron Johnson finds Ronnie Blackman. Now Baruch Harris has it knocked away. Good defensive effort by the Raiders.
Well, Baruch Harris looks like he's tired out there, too. He kind of loafing down the court. I know the coach doesn't like that, but he's not concentrating. That was a good pass.
Venable with some speed. Ronnie Blackman got to be careful. Oh, good block. Oh, my. Oh, my. I'd like to see that replay.
I'm not saying a word. End of the third quarter, which is the 42nd away. AG's got John Wheeler. I don't know if you remember John. He was on the Hampton High championship team in 1969. He's going to interview him during the third quarter. So we look forward to having a alumni for Hampton who was on a championship basketball team.
Well, I'm sorry, what was his last name?
John Wheeler.
Wheeler. Sure, I remember
Big
Wheeler.
red-headed guy.
Yeah, absolutely, sure do.
I can remember when he was at Thorpe Junior High School when I was coaching at Buckrow, he gave us fits.
14 points for Carlos Wood. He's at the free throw line. And he'll get a second shot. The first one doesn't go. So the Raiders up by a point. The lead has seesawed here in the second half. And Wood now with 15 points on the ball game and a 2-point Warwick lead. Aaron Johnson just can't buy a bucket. And a foul is going to be on Johnson, I believe. That's his second.
Well, he shot the ball, Tim, and sit there and watched it and then saw it was missing and then tried to get the rebound. You got to follow your shot right away, whether you think it's going in or not. And he hesitated and got blocked out and tried to force the rebound.
Warwick by 2. The Crabbers once again have gone cold. John Scott clears the boards. What is this signal that the officials are giving on occasion, Bob, is the hustle by the Warwick Raiders and then the ball thrown at one of the Crabbers? That was not particularly the right thing to do on the part of Wesley Thompson. Ron Fowler and Pat Patrick both have on occasion patted the top of their heads as the play continues. I don't quite understand what that. I have to ask Pat if we can during the quarter break what that means exactly. No. Pat Patrick says there is no bucket.
That was a good call, Tim, because he didn't let go of the ball before the buzzer sounded.
Okay, so I think we're just about set for AG as the third quarter comes to an end, and we've got a barn burner, 34-32. Here's AG.
Well, AG hadn't got his mic on or something. Well, while we're trying to get him to get his mic on, maybe we go down and try and start it again.
All right, the Saunders game.
And there's big Scotty Bauer there. He gets a chance to be on camera for a minute.
All right, Jim and Bob, we got,
all right, here we go.
The last time the Crabbers won a championship was 1969, and this young man, John Wheeler, was on that team. Who else was on that team, John?
Pat Patrick, Mike Anastasio, Dino Dunn, Foley Jones. We had the Saunders twins, Ronnie Warren, Henry Morgan, and Steve Mitchell.
All right, John, how would the team compare against these two teams tonight, you think?
We played a more controlled game with maybe more emphasis on defense, not as fast a pace game.
John Wheeler, thanks for coming down here, and good luck to you, buddy.
Thank you, AJ.
All right, thank you, John Wheeler. Nice move inside. Carlos
Guess what? He used that basket as another defender.
Warwick up by 4 in the third quarter. Warwick shot 33%, 5 of 15 with 3 turnovers. And the Crabbers shot 47%.
And I mean, that was just a bad shot that was taken that time. And then they turn around and foul. And again, the Warwick Raiders are in the 1-1, Tim.
Eric Hunter called for a second personal foul. As I mentioned, the Crabbers shot better, 47% in the third.
Well, they can't afford to panic, Tim. They're only down 4. You can't panic now. You just got to go play out, relax a little bit like Boo said, and go out there and play your basketball game.
This is a regular season with their first place finish here in the Peninsula District.
Shot is short, and the Raiders will get the ball, and then Eric Hunter just couldn't stop his momentum.
That was a dumb call. Ronnie Fowler wasn't in position to see that, and a man was trying to avoid him. There was no advantage gained at all on that. I don't go with that call at all. I think Ronnie blew it. Pat Patrick was in a position to call that thing. There's a good shot of Ben Moore, the Warwick Raider coach.
And you saw a worried Hampton Crabber bench as they trail by 4. Lots of time remaining, but the Crabbers have not gotten untracked, and give Warwick credit, they're bringing it to them. David Wessel. There you see a good shot of David Wessel at the free throw line. Takes that deep breath and gets set for the free throws. Made the first one, missed the second, but William
And the shortest guy on the floor got the rebound, Tim.
Venable calls the play. Wessel will take a 2-pointer. Pat Patrick indicated a 2-pointer.
His foot was on the line.
And the Raiders are out to a 7-point lead. Crabbers are rattled right now. They're very disorganized. Kevin Swan kicks it out to Blackman. Swan wants to take that 3-pointer.
Got to get the ball inside.
Swan will try for 3.
Well, that's why I'm sitting here, Tim.
4-point lead. Well, you know, that's that advantage of the 3-point play. It gets you back in the game real quick. Good block. Ronnie Blackman needs to slow it down just a tad. And
out of control. You're right, Tim. They're out of control.
They're trying to get it all back at one time, and that's not how you do it. You got plenty of time, 6.5 minutes to go in the ball game. And if you slow that down and work for a shot, you're down within 2. You throw it out of the bounds like this, you could be down by 6. So.
That could be a 4-point swing. You're right, Tim. Very good point.
Can't fault him for his exuberance, though.
But you can't play out of control. That's not how they got into this game, into the tournament.
Baseline jumper doesn't go, and Ronnie Blackman controls the boards. He'll take the 15-footer. It's a bad shot. It doesn't go. And Aaron Munday in the ballgame for the Crabbers puts some pressure on Venable and then wisely retreats. Warwick by 4. 6 minutes to go in the season for one of these teams. And this one's going to be called against Munday. Aaron Munday blocking on the baseline.
Well, that could have gone either way because number 42 for the Raiders, Carlos Wood, hooked him with his arm and right in front of Ronnie Fowler, but Ronnie called the block foul.
I think he might have called that blocking foul because Aaron Munday was moving. If he had been stationary, I think you might have seen that call go the other way. The fact that Munday was moving the whole time caused that call to go that way, I think.
It's true, but you can't get an advantage of your offensive man by hooking your arm around to get around him either.
2 rights don't make a wrong.
That's
or
right.
Something like that.
You got a good point.
Wood at the free throw line. And the Crabbers get the rebound. Cedric Williams pulls up, double team, kicks it out to Ronnie Blackman. He'll shoot, got it. Ronnie Blackman with 6 points, and it's a 2-point Warwick lead. Venable drives the baseline, has the ball blocked, kicks it out.
What? I can't understand why there was not a call, a traveling or jump ball or something. He left his feet, came back down with the ball against but I'm not in a good position.
Well, I think it must have been contact with the ball underneath by one of the Crabbers. That's the only thing I can envision because you were right about what happened. Kevin Swan almost lost the ball on a bad pass back from John Scott. See, Hampton just is still out of sync. They just haven't gotten completely in the flow yet. Kevin Swan from 3-point range, no. Gets his own rebound, he'll put it up from closer in, and it goes.
He doesn't give up on the ball at all, Tim. He may shoot a 3-pointer, but he sees where it's coming off the board, and that's what makes an excellent shooter because he knows where the ball's coming. and he get his own rebound and put it back up. And now we got a tie game.
39-39 with 4:44 to go in the ball game. Inside it goes. Nice play. Turnaround jumper by Wesley Thompson. He's got 6. Dish it off. Ronnie Blackman's hot. Well, Blackman hits 2 from the same spot, and we're back at 41. And now we've got an official's timeout.
I think we got some wet spot underneath the basket. I'm glad that Ronnie Fowler caught that, because that's a dangerous thing. A ball player run in and to stop and slip and slide, and they could hurt himself real bad.
While we have this momentary pause, let me tell you the leading scorer for Warwick right now, Carlos Wood, was 17. The leading scorer for Hampton, Kevin Swan, was 16. And we're tied at 41. We have 4 minutes and 14 seconds left in the regular season. The winner goes on to play Green Run next Wednesday night. Just inside the three-point range. It goes halfway down and comes out. Warwick gets a bad break on that shot.
Well, they did too. That ball was, like you said, that ball was halfway down in the basket and come back out.
Now the Crabbers, with a score of 41 all, want to call a timeout.
Well, I know what Coach Brower's what he wants to do right now is tell the team, says, okay, we're tied, we got the ball, we want a good shot. We want a very high percentage shot so we can take the lead. Let's don't come down and make some, a silly mistake, pass the ball away or do something like that. It's a good timeout, a good strategic timeout.
I think you're right, and I think part of the problem that the Crabbers have had in this game is they have been out of sync. They haven't really been in their flow, and give credit to the Warwick Raiders for creating that problem.
Absolutely. You can't say that Hampton just playing bad. You got to say that they're not in sync, probably because of what the Warwick Raiders are doing. Again, we've seen that Hampton is an excellent scoring team, that all the ball players out there, all 5 of the people on the floor are good scorers, but they have not been scoring tonight, again, because they're out of sync, Tim.
Ronnie Blackman has come alive here with a couple of baskets the last few minutes. That's him with the ball.
Now that's not what you want. You call timeout to set up something. You get the ball to your man inside and you travel. Boy, that's what gives a coach gray hair and he loses his hair.
That's why Walter Brower has the same barber I have. 41 all. William Venable trying to fake Swan out. He won't do it. Swan does not leave his feet. He doesn't take the fake. Ball chased down by the Raiders. That's Wesley Thompson. Out to Venable. Venable will drive, and we've got a foul on Blackman. That wasn't Fowler's call.
He said he pushed him from the back. No comment.
Ronnie Blackman picks up his 3rd. The Crabbers are over the limit. William Venable will go to the free throw line. He's got 6 points, including 1 3-pointer. And John Scott skies high to bring down the rebound.
I mean, with authority.
Swan guarded closely. Has it knocked away, but chased down by Ronnie Blackman. Good hustle by Blackman. Blackman dishes off John Scott. No! He gets his own rebound and puts it in.
Whoa, I tell you, I couldn't believe he missed the first shot, but that was good. A tenacious rebounding, because he just went back up, got his rebound, and put it back up.
Venable. Baruch Harris had it momentarily, had it tied up, and it comes out for Venable. So crowd really getting into the ball game now, as they should, and it goes off the hands of Venable. Ben Moore giving instructions to Venable.
Well, Tim, Hampton's got the lead. and I don't know how they got it.
Well, the last time down, John Scott, as you said, has to be given credit. Not only did he get a good shot the first time, and it looked like it was going to go anyway, but then he followed it up, and his tenacity was what really made that basket. Blackman's been hot. He comes up short, gets his own rebound, fakes, puts it up, and no shot. And Pat Patrick calls traveling. So Ronnie Blackman shuffled his feet as he was underneath the basket. Right in front of our camera position there, you'll see the inbounds pass. The Raiders trailing by 2. Just the kind of final you'd want to see, right down to the wire.
You get a championship game, that's right, Tim. You want to see it go all the way. You don't want to see any team blow out another team.
Harris looked like he got a lot of ball, but apparently he got some body too, as Baruch Harris will be called for his personal foul, second. Check that, his third personal foul. Ron Corey with 5 points goes to the free throw line for the Raiders. He'll have 2 shots.
Well, they're really struggling from the foul line, Tim. Had they been hitting their foul shots, they would have had the lead, but they have missed some crucial one-on-one situations in here. They missed the first one on a 2-shot foul.
And an air ball. So Ron Corey.
And you hear the call.
Ron Corey felt the pressure that time. So the Crabbers, again, with the ball and the lead. 2:07 remains in our ball game. Baruch Harris, top of the key, out for Ronnie Blackman. He wants to go inside to Swan. They got a switch on. They got Swan on the low post. And Harris, there you got traveling. Good call. Ronnie Blackman thought he was going to have the ball blocked, but he really didn't, and he came back down with it and traveled. Wessel will come out for the Raiders. McShawn Hanks will check in, number 34.
Tim, 2:54, this is crunch time. I mean, now you're really starting to get tight. Actually, down by 2, the Raiders.
154, actually. 3-point attempt by Venable. You have to wonder about the situation there. I guess if you take it and make it, you're a hero. If you don't make it, you have to wonder.
Well, evidently he's like Kevin Swan. He's got the green light when he feels like he's got the shot, because we have seen Kevin all year long that if he's got the 3-point opportunity, he will take the shot.
I agree with you, but with 1 minute and 40 seconds to go in the game, in the championship game, don't you want to work the ball in, though, Coach?
Yes, absolutely. But what I'm saying is, evidently the coach is giving him the green light to shoot that 3-pointer.
Swan almost threw it out of bounds. And then we saw Venable impede Kevin Swan's ability to get to the ball. He was laying across.
Tim, they're not even in 1-1 yet. There's only 1:28 to go in the game.
So a player control foul. Again, Hampton has still gotten the ball at the side court as a result of that. You're exactly right, but they have but one more foul. Kevin Swan, yes!
That was a set play, Tim.
Kevin Swan.
He got a nice screen from John Scott. Got the ball, just drove to the basket.
He didn't wait for anybody to take his number. He just went right to the hoop. 4-point Hampton lead, 1 minute and 10. Crabbers want to play green run. Warwick wants to play green run. Who wants it more is the question right now. Wessel gets the bucket. Ben Moore's team calls timeout with 1 minute 3 to go. It's 45-43.
Crunch time, Tim, crunch time. Now we're going to find out what team can do it when the heat's on and the pressure's on. Yes, you said both teams want to play green run. And even though green run is undefeated at this point, these two teams feel that they can go over, either one of them feel like they can go over and give green run a good game. Good crowd tonight. It's been a good game. It's not been a well-played game from the advantages of the coaches. I don't think either one of the two teams played up to the coaches' predictions of how they have been playing. But it's been a good game. But when you got 2-point difference, 103, it keeps your enthusiasm, and you won't go to sleep.
I think you see a lot more of this in a championship game. You see more errors because of the importance of the game. I think the players, being young high school players, they get a tendency to tighten up a little more. They get away from their game a bit, and I think that's what we might be seeing here. I've seen a lot of championship games that just weren't very pretty, but you know, that was the nature of the beast. Travers, difficulty getting the ball in, do so finally. And this is Aaron Johnson crossing the timeline, guarded closely by Venable. Now he gives to Cedric Williams. Williams finds Baruch Harris on the left side. Kicking back out to Aaron Johnson. 45 seconds to go. The Crabbers lead by 2. They don't need to score again, but they certainly would like to. Oh, a terrible shot taken by Johnson.
I don't believe that shot. I know Coach Brower is mad now.
It was a good shot from the point that it was taken, but it was a poor execution of the shot. And we've got a blocking foul. Tough call for Pat Patrick. Tough call, because I think it was a good call, but it's a tough call to make, boy, with 30 seconds to go in the game. And if you call it one way, it means an awful lot. And if you call it the other way, it means an awful lot. So
Anybody can watch this ball game and can look. Pat Patrick was on that championship Hampton game team in 1969, and he's playing. He is a neutral referee out there. He's not calling it one way or the other way. I tell you, he's just doing excellent.
He's doing something I don't know if I could do. I've thought about that. I've thought about this a little earlier, as we've got a timeout being called by the Crabbers. It must be difficult because I can't help but have certain leanings. You coached at Bethel for years. You got to have a little bit in your heart toward the Bethel Bruins. I went to Hampton High School. I've followed the Crabbers for many years, and it's got to be difficult. Here's Pat Patrick on the championship team from '69. And let me tell you something, there's no one with more integrity on that floor right now than Pat Patrick.
That's true. I'd like to get Pat over here and find out what this call was. Pat, what's this? Watch the clock. Okay, we finally found out what this thing was when the Pat had watch the clock.
So that means to the official to be aware of the fact that time is running down. So it's, again, the team play between the officials.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And I didn't know what it was, and I've seen him do it, but like you, I didn't know and didn't want to ask. Didn't want to show too much stupidity here.
You know, it really it makes sense, and it's something we haven't really gotten into with our unfortunately very brief discussion with Pat Patrick in the first game with the girls. But the team play of the officials comes into play many times.
Well, see, what they're talking about watching the clock is for 10-second violation, 5-second violation, those sorts of things. Also,
at the free throw line, Wesley Thompson.
That's pressure on. You can make him when the pressure's on. Now, if he misses this, Hampton's got to do a super job blocking out, getting the defensive rebound. If not, then they've got 30 seconds to bring that ball down and get the last shot off.
Thompson gets both, and we're tied at 45. Baruch Harris is not the man that Hampton wants handling the ball, and that's why. Oh, he missed it. He missed the jam. And take it down the other end. Oh, my goodness. Wesley Thompson had it halfway down again. This poor guy, I'll tell you one thing, I wouldn't go to Atlantic City if I were him.
No, I wouldn't.
Because he's got no luck at all.
And Baruch Harris has got to feel like a man on a reprieve, because there he did just what you said. You don't want your big man handle the ball. He turned around and handed it to the defense. An uncontested layup, and he missed it.
Well, you know, and it wasn't a bad shot. That's the worst part. I'd rather miss it by a mile than to have it go in, go halfway down, come back around, and then jump out. Well, we've gotten all we want to do. I want to take again this opportunity to thank Dr. Walter Lovett and also Buster Jackson for all of their help for our crew here tonight to set up for the girls game and the boys game. Their cooperation is greatly appreciated. Fans have been great. They've really enjoyed this ball game, I'm sure. And, you know, I won't get into that old cliche about it's the same, someone's got to lose, but it's been a good ball game.
It really has, Tim. One thing we do want to take note of while we got a second here is to thank our camera crew, Angela and Jerome, And who we got down in the other one? I don't know who that young lady is down at the other end. And of course, Scotty and Dr. Sam just do an excellent job all the time. And Bev in the truck doing the graphics for us. We appreciate that. We get at the end of the game when we start wrapping up, and sometimes we forget to thank these people.
Well, again, you talk about big free throws. If I heard the announcer, Bill Nettle, correctly, that was Warwick's last timeout, I believe.
And Hampton has one timeout left.
So the man you want to have at the free throw line for Hampton is Kevin Swan.
You took the words right out of my mouth, Tim. But understand that they can come up by 2 and still lose the game because you got the three-point play.
That's why I love the three-point play, because it's so exciting. Swan hits both. He's got 20 points. Warwick cannot call a timeout. Venable, who will shoot from 3, pulls up, kicks it out. Thompson will shoot from 3. Goes off the brim, no good. Ronnie Blackman, and a 2-shot foul is going to be charged to check that, Ron Corey. That's his 4th.
And that is Tim, if you get a shot of Pat Patrick, he crossed his wrist, which means intentional foul, goes to the foul line, shoots 2 shots, then they get the ball out of bounds. So, I mean, you talk about really, really hurting Warwick. It's because these are like technical shots. 2 shots, nobody on the line but you. You shoot 2 times, and then you get the ball out of bounds. So if he makes both of these, it's over.
Williams has the bounce.
Hampton's got to feel real good about coming out of this game in the position they are right now, because they have not really played a pretty game. Tim, it's over. That's a 4-point lead. You got the ball. Warwick cannot call timeout. They have to foul. Hampton's calling the timeout. Hampton say, hey, let's get the ball in, make them foul us. They cannot stop it. Even if they get the ball, dribble down the court, make a 3-pointer, we do not have to touch it, Tim. We don't have to touch the ball. The clock will run out. And that's an excellent, I'd have to say Hampton's got it. But I have seen stranger things happen.
Like you said, this hasn't been a pretty game from the point of view of no one has excelled in their shooting. It's been a hard-fought ball game, and it's been a tough ball game. And it shows, I guess you might say, it shows the character of both teams, and in particular Hampton, when the tough had to get going down at the end here. They have done so.
Well, and they did it at the foul line, Tim. I mean, Kevin Swan went up and made 2 pressure free throws that put him up by 2. And who was that just on the line was Cedric Williams went up, made 2 pressure free throws. And here you are 11 seconds away from the district tournament championship and a chance to play. And that was a 1-and-1. That was a good call. It was not a 1 second went off the clock. But now you got a man up there 1-and-1. He makes some misses, makes no difference. They cannot call a timeout. They can shoot the ball. Hampton could just get back and just let them go down the court. I wouldn't have anybody on the foul line. I'd take everybody off the foul line if that was me.
Here you see Walter Brower, Art Jones. Walter Brower giving instructions, telling some of his players to back up. He'd rather have a couple of players back at the half-court line.
Well, at this point, I just tell them, come over here and stand next to the bench. Come over here next to the bench. Get away. Let them get the ball. Let them throw it in. They can't do it. They can't stop the clock. You got a 5-point lead.
Aaron Johnson gets the first. And the second. So 6 attempts, 6 points for the Crabbers. Johnson checks out. Cedric Williams comes in for the Crabbers. 10 seconds to go. Clock will not start until it's touched by Venable. Venable knocks it off his foot, but gets it back. Drive the baseline, put it in, and now a timeout. I thought Warwick was out of timeouts. Obviously, I was wrong.
I was under the impression they had no more timeouts too, Tim.
I thought I had heard that announcement. Obviously, Warwick had one more.
Well, and, of course, my strategy stunk if they had the timeout.
Well, it's still a 4-point lead, and you've only got 3 seconds in which to do anything.
Well, one thing you can do now is throw the ball down court, because as soon as it's touched, the clock goes. They can get the ball. The most they can get is the 3 points, and you still win by 1. But I tell you, Hampton's got a really feel good because they have not played that good a basketball, but they did come away with a real important win, and that means you and I and this crew is going over to Cox next Wednesday and watch Phoebus girls play Cox girls and this Hampton's crew playing Green Run. Both good, excellent basketball games.
What have we got? Too many players on the court?
Hampton had 6 on the floor.
We've seen that before. And a 1-and-1. You got to wonder what constitutes an intentional foul at this point, as that should be Ron Corey's final foul.
Well,
I think
Tim,
that's fine.
an intentional foul is a foul when you're just fouling a guy and not going toward the ball. If you're making an effort to go towards the ball, it's not an intentional foul.
So Ron Corey will foul out of the ball game. He'll end up with 5 points.
Well, at the end of this conclusion, at the conclusion of this game, Tim, we're going to be able to see the all-tournament team selected, plus the championship trophies and the runner-up trophies being handed out. Ben Moore has nothing to be ashamed of. His team did an excellent job taking Hampton right down to the wire.
Aaron Johnson now with 9 points.
If you see that crew that Hampton's got out there, there's no big guys out there, Tim. They're all your quick defenders.
So the Crabbers hold on and eke out a victory here at Holland Fieldhouse, 53-47. Warwick led at halftime by 4. They led by 2 at the end of the third quarter. And Hampton turned it around in the fourth quarter. After trailing by 2, they win by 6. And I ask you again to stay tuned, because at the conclusion here, we're going to have the awarding of the trophies. The Peninsula District Championship, of course, will go to the regular season championship, goes to the Denby Patriots. And I'm sure they'll be represented here.
Oh, yeah, they'll have somebody here to pick up the cup in the middle of the table out there, Tim. The second place trophy, of course, will be going to the Warwick Raiders. And here we got Tim, we got AG with Coach Walter Brower, and I know he's happy to be winning. So let's go ahead and go to Walter.
I don't know whether we have.
He hadn't got his thing on. Hold a second right there. Well, we're trying to get the thing on. We're trying to get to, I don't know if the mic's on or not.
Yeah, okay.
Okay.
Now we got it.
Wait a minute, hold on, I'm sorry. All right, Coach Walter Brower, great coaching job, and Kevin Swan had ice water in his veins.
Well, anytime we get in that situation, that's the man I want on the line, because he's going to make them.
He made things happen there towards the end of the game.
Yeah, he did. He's our money player. When things get tough, Kevin, he rises up a little higher.
Cedric Williams made a couple key free throws there towards the end also.
Well, we wanted to put our best free throw shooters in there, and Cedric is one of them.
Score was tied there with about 30 seconds left, and the ball for Warwick went in and out. What was your heart doing at that time?
Hey, my heart was going all ball game. It didn't slow up not one bit.
All right, great job. I think they're going to have the awards now. We'll maybe catch you after the awards.
Okay.
Great job.
See if we can't get AG to give Bill Nettle the mic for the presentation of the awards.
So we can present the awards.
Double force. Here we
Yeah,
go.
we appreciate that, Bill.
Ladies and gentlemen, once again, it gives me great pleasure to introduce to you the director for the Peninsula District Tournament, Mr. Bolin Shoup. Once again, his assistant is Larry Waddell. Ladies and gentlemen, I think we owe these two gentlemen a big round of applause for the fine job that they've done in putting on the Peninsula District Tournament here for 1988.
I'll have to second that. They've done an excellent job. This has been a real one-run tournament, Tim.
First thing we'd like to do is call for a representative for the Denby Patriots to come out and receive the first place trophy for the season. The Denby Patriots, the season champions for 1988.
Then again, maybe none of the Denby Patriots are here.
Well, they may be overlooking. Here comes Coach Katufas coming up there right now.
And of course, Mike Town would like to avenge those two mid-season losses. Right now, the sharper team seems to be
I'd
fierce.
like to ask, first of all, before we ask for someone, ladies and gentlemen, I've just seen a gutsy performance by a group of gentlemen here in the Warwick Raiders Club. What an outstanding performance by these gentlemen. Outstanding club. Travers almost getting it, but not quite enough tonight. Could we have a representative, please, for the Warwick Raiders come out and receive the second place for the runner-up for the Peninsula District Championship? Ladies and gentlemen, the Warwick Raiders seeded fourth, knocked off the number 1 team in the semifinals, and nearly took the measure of the number 2 seeded team here in the championship.
They did, Tim. They upset the Denby Patriots, who was the regular season champion, and beat them in both games in the regular season, then lost to them in the championship
for the Hampton Crabbers, and they have just
second
proved
round.
that there is life after football at Hampton High School.
There is life after
If we
football.
could get a representative for the Hampton Crabbers come out and receive for the second straight year the Peninsula District Championship trophy.
And there's your seniors out there, Tim. They're really excited and glad to be
Ladies and gentlemen, at
receiving
this
that
time,
trophy.
we'd like to introduce, if we could, the all-tournament team for 1988. First of all, from our runner-up tonight, the Warwick Raiders, number 42, Carlos Wood.
Who do you vote for as the player of the tournament, Bob?
Well, if I would have to go with Kevin Swan because of the fact that he's done it all. The defense, the offense, the
Representing
passing the
the
ball
Denby
inside.
Patriots,
He's been getting the assists,
number
been
32,
rebounding, and
Marcus
just doing it
Michael.
all, Tim. And like Coach Brower said, when it's crunch time, that's the man I want on the foul line.
Representing the Ferguson Mariners,
Marcus Michael
Steve
from Denby.
Artis.
Steve Artis is another tremendous ball player. We got to see him the other night when
Excellent ball
Hampton
player.
played. And here he comes right there with the hat on, Tim.
Marcus Michael from Denby, of course, on the team.
Ladies and gentlemen, representing the champions for the Peninsula District Tournament, John Scott.
John Scott has played an excellent game the whole tournament. He didn't have an excellent offensive game
Also
tonight,
for
but
the
he did a
Hampton
good job on the
Crabbers,
board.
number 20, Kevin Swan.
Kind of thought Kevin would be there. Who's going to be the MVP? I picked Kevin. Who you picking?
That's what I had to go with. I don't see any way to deviate
One
from that.
additional award remains.
You got to go for the man who brung you there.
To these
right.
statistics. From the floor, 8 of 11, shooting 73%. From the free throw line, 3 of 4, shooting 75%. Once again, from the champion Hampton Crabbers, number 20, Kevin Swan.
No real surprise there. He started off slowly, only had about 6-7 points at halftime.
But
the 4 points, excuse me, had 4 points at halftime.
But he come back, Tim, and just
Ladies and gentlemen, we
he didn't
certainly
panic.
want to thank all of you for coming out here to Hampton University's Holland Hall and being a part of the 1988 Peninsula District Tournament. We certainly hope you'll come back and be with us next year. Thank you, and from all of us, a good evening.
Have to kind of, I gotta give him a nickname. I gotta give Swan a nickname.
What's
you forgive
that?
me? The Iceman. I gotta give him.
Iceman,
It's been
yeah.
used before, but that's the kind of player that he is. He's like Coach Walter Brower said just before the presentation of the awards when he was discussing that with AG. When he needs somebody who he can count on, that's the man he goes to. That's his money man. That's
your Iceman. You're right, Tim, and that is a good moniker to stick on him. And we want to thank Bill Nettle for his job of announcing and keeping up with the statistics and everything, and taking the extra effort to hold 2 microphones in his hands when he was talking so that we could catch him real clear coming over our telecast. It's just been a tremendous opportunity for both you and I to do this. I've really enjoyed it. Of course, I always enjoy working with you. You're my idol. Did I ever tell you that?
Merlin Olsen is your idol.
Kenny Rogers. I want you to break into song for the chance you get.
AG looks like he's trying to find somebody to talk to there.
Well, he's trying to get Kevin Swan, the MVP, and looks like he does have him. And we will go to him if your mic's on.
We got Kevin Swan, the most valuable player. Kevin, you played with, we mentioned earlier, ice water in your veins. Now you just made things happen. It has to be a big moment for you.
Well, we knew at halftime we were down. We were playing lackadaisical basketball, and things weren't working out for us. So in the second half, we had to come out playing, and that's what basically we did. I was more aggressive on offense this second half.
This team's been coming back all year. So many games had to come from behind, and this team just has seemed to have that knack for doing that.
Right. Well, I think we're used to it now, and by doing that, we were able to come back tonight.
Oh, you got a couple relatives here that have been supporting you on. Who we got here?
Yes, this is my father right here, Frank Swan. And this is my uncle right here, Leon Swan.
Right, how far can this team go, Kevin?
All the way.
Oh, yeah, we can go all the way, hopefully. But with a little luck.
All right, great tournament, and we're going to be following you guys all the way. Great playing. Thanks a lot.
Thanks a lot. Right. Well, I tell you what.
Kevin Swan, most valuable player.
I wouldn't argue with his daddy. Big man. He got to be very proud of Kevin, because Kevin has played well all year long, but played exceedingly well in the tournament. And that's why he was voted MVP.
Well, he led the Crabbers in scoring throughout the season, and he did so again in the tournament. He had, in this ball game, 20 points, and he had 18 points in the ball game against Ferguson to get them to the finals. So Kevin Swan deservedly is our MVP for the tournament. And your final thoughts as we wrap this up, and again remind everybody that the Crabbers will be facing Green Run at Cox High School next Wednesday evening at 8 o'clock. That game will be preceded by the Phoebus girls team playing against the Cox High School girls team for the regional play there.
Well, my final thoughts on the game was it wasn't pretty, but you come away with the win. You don't play it well, but you still win. So that means you've got a little bit of luck on your side. But if you understand what luck is, that's when preparation meets the opportunity, and that's what Hampton did. They did what they had to do at the end of the game, and that was to make the foul shots. I'd like to let people know that, again, that girls' games are going to be played Monday at 5 p.m., aired Monday at 5 p.m., Wednesday at 5 p.m., and Thursday at 9 p.m. This game will be aired Monday at 9 p.m., Wednesday 9 p.m., and Thursday at 9 a.m. So we really look forward to coming into your living room, and there you see our names, and we appreciate. Angela Thomas was the other gal that's on the camera that I missed earlier, Tim.
Okay, Bob, and again, I thank you. Their final score, once again, the Hampton Crabbers 53, the Warwick Raiders 47, in a hard-fought game. The Crabbers advance, the Warwick Raiders end 12-12. Crabbers have got 8 wins in a row going into the tournament. For Bob Hintz and A.G. Womble and our entire crew, thank you for watching, everybody. Good night.